Hi guys. You are the band Miami. Am I correct in saying that?
That is
And
correct.
Oh, yes,
and would
indeed.
you be able to introduce yourselves a bit?
Go first,
Yeah,
David.
let's do it. Who want to go first?
You do that.
I'm gonna go first.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go first because I'm the lead singer. Short story. Miami is a band from '97. Me and Christian, we met in school. Young kids, didn't do much. But then you suddenly got this computer called Amiga 500. And then we started making music with using 4 tracks.
Yeah.
And suddenly you know, we bought a keyboard and a sampler and a hard disk recorder, and we were on a roll. Then began making music, and we thought that we were very professional, but we were also very young. So, but we slowly we got better and better.
Yeah.
We became better and better. So we did a like an electronic house band, making dance music in the 90s. We got our first record deal, a small label, as a part of EMI Records. What happened then? We did a single. We split up with that band, and then we created Miami in '97. And 2 weeks later on, we got this record deal with Virgin Records.
Wow.
In Copenhagen, Denmark. So, and we were very young, and that was like in '97. And then we released a couple of singles. We did an album in '99, and that was when all the CD sale was like topping and flopping.
Yes.
So because of something called MP3.
Oh, that crazy thing.
And yeah, and the record business at that time didn't really take it seriously. They were actually playing quite, can you say, like, arrogant.
Yeah.
They didn't
like it'll be
believe
something that will just pass, and then everyone will be back to CDs again.
Exactly. They didn't believe
Yeah.
in modern technology, and now all musicians around the world are paying the price of their that they didn't believe that they actually could develop together with the MP3 and actually be owning it as a new media. But they didn't believe in it, and so as a part of that process, we got kicked out in '99, and shortly after we actually split up. We actually signed a two album record deal, but we only made our first album.
Right. What were the reasons, if you don't mind me asking, at that time?
Well, one of the reasons was, like, as I told you, that the sale of CDs was going down. And also that we had like some troubles communicating with the record label.
Right.
I think it's a classic thing. We wanted to go one way, they wanted to go another way.
Yeah. Are you currently with a label now, or are you doing this completely independently?
Yeah, currently we have a small label. It's called what is it called? Dogstar. Quack quack. It's very independent, and we almost do everything on our own. From artwork
you
to
do find
mastering.
with the smaller labels, you do get a bit more freedom, and with the bigger labels,
yeah, we are free, and I guess that's just the way it is now. That music moved from studios into bedrooms and Mac computers, and on all that equipment we got at that time.
Yeah,
it's like you don't really need it anymore. You don't need samplers. You don't need hard disk recorders. You can basically, you just need Logic and a computer and a microphone.
I have to say, about 6 years on after '97, I was learning how to use, things within a computer, but it moved on very quickly from there, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it did.
Um, so I'm actually meeting you guys at a probably later point then, not like fresh out the gate band, quite experienced. What interested me most is where you all are in the world, and how you're making it work, because your band seems to be like spread out everywhere.
Yeah, we are on one side of the Atlantic Ocean, you're in the middle, and Christian is like way southwest.
So what's the plan with that then? Is there plans to meet and tour, or are you planning to do a very 2023 thing, which is just be highly virtual?
Well, we
No,
just
not at all.
Yeah, I'm just gonna you can
Yeah.
answer that, Christian. Sorry, I'm talking too much.
We are working on meeting up now. I do live in Brazil, so of course, but as I see it, it's fine working at a distance when you're just producing and recording. But when it comes to live gigs, yeah, I think you need to meet. It's impossible not to meet.
Yeah,
you have to do it. And so our aim right now is just try to come up with some kind of live performance that works. And then when I go to Denmark in, I think in May or June, we'll meet up and see what gigs we have, and then we'll play.
fantastic.
That's the plan for now. But as to the producing of the album, I would say it's been fairly easy. I had to make sure that the guys had the right mics and the right setup. So our drummer, he's on his own, but he has a house, so he records in his basement. I made sure that he has the right mics, how they're placed and stuff like that. So I say, I want this and this, send me that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't make him pay for all those mics though, because I think it's unfair to make the drummer pay for mics compared to.
Actually, I paid for them.
Really? I mean, that could be quite
paid for them.
pricey, can't it? Drum mics compared to others.
Yeah, but we like pre-owned stuff. We like used stuff. So
Yeah, fair enough.
old stuff.
And you can also like rent, can't you, for times if you want to record. So, oh yeah, I mean, we've all kind of learned probably since COVID and 2020 how easy it can be to record, even when you're not with each other. Do you find the creative process then has been a lot easier with the access to everything like these days compared to how it was in 1997?
Definitely. Yeah, I think if you want something, you can get it today. Back then, you couldn't really get that. You didn't have access. You didn't have enough tracks, or you wanted to record drums, or you were stuck with a 4-track hard disk recorder.
Yeah,
and it never really worked out. The first Miami album from '97. There was a lot of things that I wanted to do, and I didn't have the experience, and we didn't have like the equipment for it either. So we just had to loop the drums and hope for the best. That's what we did back then.
Yeah.
But today we have access to 24 tracks at the same time.
Yeah,
I mean, you got everything.
Yeah.
But I would say that it can be a little bit overwhelming to have that many tracks, and sometimes you lose the creativity.
Yeah, just feeling like you've got to add more, or
Yeah.
In some ways, it's nice to have that limit, isn't it? Of just like 8 tracks or something. I'm gonna deal with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's why we tried more this time, just to make songs that actually work on a guitar or piano, and then try to just add the basic stuff from there.
Yeah. And that actually brings us on to your single then, which I have reviewed and is going to be on this channel after this interview, Lost. And I mainly wanted to talk about the lyrics first, because the lyrics were the thing that grabbed me. I got a few things from it, but one of them was it sounded like you were talking about somebody that had kind of passed their time, was still doing the wrong, well, still acting like maybe like this rock and roll lifestyle that they need to grow out of. Am I right with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I grew up with MTV, just like Christian, and we were, pretty much inspired by the artists in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
And every time you saw like rock videos with Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi and all those stars, even Oasis from the UK, they were also they were always like, drinking booze, smoking cigarettes, and I was wondering, for how long time can you do that? And what if, the question is, what if you're not like, if you're not peaking anymore? Then it's just stupid just to act like a rock star without being a rock star. So
feels a bit
I thought
sad.
it was and the whole chorus about throwing TVs out of hotel rooms is like, I don't think the young people today will ever get it, but that was like a thing when you became a big rock star in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. You were just going to check into the biggest hotel suites, and then you found yourself this real big TV, and then you just threw it out the window.
Do you think all these hotels knew that when there was like a rock star coming, they go, hey, get the spare TV out. Yeah, just put it in the hotel room. We'll keep the good one hidden away. Let them throw that one out.
I think that it was more like, can you say, like mythologic?
Yeah.
Then it was like, it was maybe a few rock stars did it.
Yeah. It was back then. It was like, oh, did you hear that they threw TV
and then
hotel
rumors, and it like, it's just a good story, man. I mean, a drunk rock star throwing out a TV.
I think you're right. I mean, there's some of that applies today, but to different things, and those ways are not seen as maybe what's in. And I don't know. The overall feeling I got was kind of like maybe a fashion, a trend, kind of a comment on a trend that someone's still trying to do, and it's like what we say, flogging a dead horse. You're still trying to do it, even though you should have moved on and tried something else. And as we all know, it's those artists that adapt that keep it interesting and unique. If you go back as far as the Beatles, they never did the same thing, and that's what kept them fresh. And then if you think of bands maybe like AC/DC, who are still making the same sound to this day, and probably how much less relevant they're getting, that can be hard. So are you trying to maybe build back after maybe what was lost years ago? Is that your plan? I know I just said the word lost, so that was not intentional.
But... No, I know what you mean. Do you want to answer, Christian, or should I?
Yeah, but I just want to make sure I got the question right. So you mean if we're trying to like continue the things we had back then, or is that?
It's kind of a bit of both. Are you trying to continue what was back then? Are you trying to freshen up? Are you trying to make a commentary on what it was like back then? So it's a kind of a bit of everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I think as we all realize, the music industry has taken like a 180 turn. Man, there's no getting around that. It wasn't what it used to be, and it'll never be like that again. I mean, for us old guys, I think the music industry has gone to the shitters, And back then, if you actually got into a label, then you actually had a reasonable chance to make a living. Today, I mean, everybody has access to equipment, their home studios. They can release their CDs, or not CDs, but music, and they don't make shit. They're just scrambling for small change.
Yeah, it's actually a question I had for you guys later. Is how do you feel the internet's impacted your approach to being an artist? But you just said it perfectly. There really.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to be like a superstar today, like within the music industry, and you have to get the really big labels, the mastodons of the big labels, to support you, and then you're in for the money.
Yeah.
But only then. But all the other guys that just like us, they're not making any money.
No.
And
No.
that's what we realized. But to return to your original question, yeah, I think for me as a producer, I'm trying to rectify what could have been back then in terms of making the album that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And try to make the best songs. But I'll say, like looking back, the songs on the original first album, they're not that great in my opinion. There was 2 or 3 good songs that I really liked.
Yeah.
We were very young and very impatient. And now we made 12 songs, we made an album, let's get it out there, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where we failed. We did fail.
Yeah.
The first thing we had was great, you know? And then it all went down from there. So this time I really wanted to rectify that, to try and have at least like 5 good singles, at least. And then the rest of the album, like good songs that you wouldn't like immediately, but you could grow on with time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always that track on the album that you didn't like in the beginning, but then gradually you're just like, oh, that's really cool, actually. You know, there's always that track.
I really like what you said. Sorry to interrupt. I really like what you said about when you listen back to your old music and you didn't like a lot of the songs. But I was talking to an artist a few days ago, and they said that they listened back to their old album and they didn't like many of the songs, but they said they were okay with that because at the time they loved those songs. Yeah. And I think the thing about music is like when you're making the album, every song's like, you know, your favorite song, and that's the point. And you might listen 4, 5, 10 years on and go, actually, you know, some of, you know, half of them I don't like or whatever, but they are like a stamp in time. The question is though, when you made that album, did you feel a pressure to make things that you weren't happy with doing whilst you were making it? Yeah,
there was now we had the first single. It was kind of a hit in Denmark, and then we were stuck making the second single, and we couldn't get it right, you know.
Yeah.
And the label was asking us to do a cover. What was it, Nikolaj? The cover
it was Eurythmics.
Sweet Dreams or
Here Comes the Rain or something.
Yeah. So,
and also they came up with different artists that we should make like cover versions of, and
but it didn't pan out anyway. And then in the end, we chose like a slow song for our second single, and that was a big mistake. You know, it was a good song. I really like that song even today, but it was a mistake. You know, that's when it all went down from there. So,
well, it's a shame that did happen, but it sounds like you guys seem happy with where things are now and where they're going. And your album's coming out soon. It's called Transparent. Is that right?
No, it's called...
Did I get that wrong? Hang on. Transformation. Oh, you know what? I looked at my notes.
Sorry, I'm a little tired too, but it's Transformation, and it came out October the 13th. So it's been out for a month now.
Right. Well, I'm sorry, I got that completely wrong there.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. And that's like the whole vision of this album is obviously transformation, is because we do not sound like we did in 99. And the whole meaning about this album is that it's slowly is going to, that we are like releasing singles maybe over 1 year. So our goal is to release maybe 4 or 5 singles from this album and then take it from there.
Okay.
So we did like a slow release.
It seems to be the way the world is kind of working now, isn't it? It's almost like you go by single to the next single, or EPs, and albums are less like people aren't as interested in albums, it seems anyway.
Oh,
So all these new artists you're seeing, it's just single,
yeah,
and a big like cycle, like shorter cycles, but a cycle building up to the single, then the drop of the single, the aftermath, and then starting the next one. Is there any like maybe thought for that in the future? I know you're saying that you're going to slowly release these singles from the album, but I love albums, and
yeah.
I wouldn't want them to go, and I enjoy making albums. Do you still feel like that?
Yeah, I love albums too, but you know, it's like a finished product, and it's say like Nikolai said to me one day, but we make an album, and that's how we. This is how we are. Like this is us. You know,
Yeah.
it's your like a calling card. Oh, yeah, this is our album. This is us. You know,
Yeah, for the
but
moment.
but actually, people don't like albums. I don't think they're like their attention span is too short today.
Yeah,
You know, they just like singles and oh, that's a new single from this and that artist or yeah, this and
Yeah.
that star. Yeah, but I see it as that okay, we wanted to make this album because we had something to rectify, and we also have plan of releasing a vinyl, and there will be 2 more tracks on the vinyl.
yeah,
So
Nice.
yeah,
It seems to be the way we're going these days. Is we'll release on streaming services, but you can also buy a vinyl. I love
Yeah.
collecting vinyls. So I'm glad that's around still. There is some kind of physical thing to go for. Vinyls are cool. So yeah, glad you're doing that. So the single's called Lost. I thought it was really, really catchy, and it kind of went to quite just like punchy rock roots. And as you were saying, it wasn't like too oversaturated with too many elements. It was very
No, it's pretty
focused.
simple.
Yeah, focused and tight.
It's like the Rolling Stones versus Beach Boys, basically.
I like that comparison. Yeah. It's interesting you bring up Rolling Stones because they're still going. Are you bothered about them still like throwing TVs out of windows and stuff? I think they could get away with it.
are they doing that?
I mean, if you've seen their latest song, "Angry," they still look like they're going hard. The singer's still amazing. You know, they're still good. They're not past
I
their
think
prime
that
yet.
they're doing well, as you mentioned earlier. You mentioned AC/DC. Why fix it if it works? I mean, they've sounded like that for decades, and if they still sell records, be my guest. I'm just I actually can't stand listening to radio at the moment because I think most pop songs are sounding, you know, in the same way. They're using the same instruments, the same software to produce. The vocals sound similar. It's, you know, it's one big copycat thing. And sometimes I ask myself, who's the ones to decide what to play? So sometimes it's just because I'm old. But sometimes it's just easier to, instead of trying to understand the new sound and new songs and the new way of creating music, it's just easier to go back.
Yeah.
And luckily, we grew up in a time where you can listen to like all sorts of music. So
I mean, how great was the 90s? And I mean,
the
I was probably about 8 in 97, but 90s and 2000s, I did enjoy them.
Grunge, Britpop, dance, techno, everything, you know.
Yeah.
What do you want?
But I like what you said about jumping, like everyone's copying each other. It's this trend that setting that people jump on. You can see it on apps such as TikTok, where if one person's done something, then it gets replicated 1,000 times. But I would say radio is probably not the place to be, because they will just play. They'll just play what the hits are over and over again.
Yeah.
I listen to one radio station and you hear Oasis. I know I live in England, but you hear Oasis every sort of half an hour on this radio station.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So people are actually getting more music recommended to them using algorithms such as, you know, algorithms on Spotify. So there is more opportunity for people to find their niche, their interest. But it's like a 5 minute of fame type situation. You're pushed to a playlist. and then you're pushed out, and then it's the next
Yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah.
the next one. So we're in a sea of musicians, and it's great that we can all make music. The reason why I started a YouTube channel was so that I could get people to listen to my music. It's linked in the description, you know.
That's
So
good.
I
That's
thought,
a good idea.
I thought, why not review other people's music? They might listen to my music. So that was my plan for, you know, when COVID hit, I did that. So people are having to be more creative, and it seems record labels especially are more interested in, like, are you doing things like TikTok or like social
Yeah.
media? Have you got a TikTok that's blown up, so now we can push a single now that you've had a TikTok video blow up? And it seems like a lot of record labels are more focused on that and less actually on, you know, your music.
Population is are you like, not population, but I mean, are you famous on the social medias? Is like number one, and number two is talent. And in my world, it should be the other way around. But
it should be for everyone.
Yeah, and then number three could be like, how old are you? And I think we are. Well, I'm 46, and Christian is 46, and I mean, in the world of pop music, we are way too old. I mean,
yeah,
even
maybe
though
not for rock though, and
we're still younger than U2 and Coldplay. Come on,
well, there you go. And there's no saying that something won't happen. You know, you know.
No.
I mean, even I dare say I'm 32, but even I have that thought of like, oh, I'm not 21 anymore. That's it. You know, you do think that, don't you? But should the end goal be to get famous, or should it be to produce something that you enjoy and doing it with your friends?
I think it should be to do what you enjoy, and that's what we set out to do.
Yeah.
Actually, Nikolai, he's more paying attention to what to do in terms of how to promote stuff. I don't really give a shit. I just wanted to make the music, you know, and that takes all my time.
Yeah.
But that's why Nikolai, he's more frustrated than me, I think.
I'm only frustrated, as we talked about before. I'm only frustrated because when I listen to radio, and I know I shouldn't listen to radio, but when I do in my car, I'm just telling myself that track we could. I mean, we got tracks that are like 100 times better than that track, and then why are they playing that song? It's a shitty song. And I ask myself all these kind of questions, and I end up asking myself, maybe I'm just too old.
You know what? It's generation after generation of the older generation telling the younger generation that their music's terrible. It happened with the Beatles. You know, it just, when rock started, that's the devil's music, you know.
But what I think is strange is that radio is an old media. Yeah. So all the new shitty music should get the fuck out of radio stations, because that's our media. That's not the new generation's media.
Exactly, and that's why younger people probably aren't listening to radio.
They got their TikTok and they got their streaming channels and all that, and playlists. Fine by me, but let the old rockers get the radio stations.
Oh, I love it. It's been really interesting to chat about that, and it feels like our interview has like gone on this like hunt, or like about generational gap and things like that. But it's been interesting to talk about it, and it's been nice to talk about the impact that is having on older people and younger people too. So thank you for coming on. Your single is Lost. The album is Transformation, not Transparency. I say it's late for me. I think it's late.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, if it is,
it'll be a great title.
That'll make me happy. Yeah. So thank you for coming on, guys. I really, really enjoyed it. And
welcome.
Get some sleep. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye, ladies and gentlemen.